Bleeding Purple Podcast.
This is a 52-yard drive left pass with 31 seconds to go. Snap, spot, kick, up, distance, fine. It is no good. He missed it.
Talk good and loud so they all can hear you. Make a short speech so they all will listen to you. Then sit down so they all will like you. Thank you.
Tickled his foot, he's in a good place. I want Teddy. I don't want to go somewhere. So.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings, the division champion Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Tyler Haig. I am a co-host. The other co-host is Mr. Adam Patrick.
Yeah.
Lovely attire you have on today, good sir. All the superstitious clothing must have been worn, obviously, because the Vikings rolled. And that game was done. What did they wind up winning? 34-7 was the final. But that game was over at halftime. Realistically, we were kind of talking earlier. Quarter, it was like the first quarter, like the series or two. And so I posed this question to you, Adam. Would the Browns have beaten Cincinnati on Sunday? Meaning, is there a team in the NFL that wouldn't have beaten Cincinnati? Because they also found out that morning that Marvin Lewis, Schefter reported that Lewis wasn't going to be back either way. Even if they didn't fire him, he was going to go. They're going to go their separate ways.
I believe the players found out through the media too. They didn't find out from their head coach
that morning before a game. So essentially what happened to those players is they woke up in Minneapolis and got that news and then had to go to the stadium and try and play against that team.
Yeah.
And it sure looked like it because like you said, it was literally the second series.
Yeah, their second offensive drive for the Bengals.
And it was done.
Kendricks had that pick six.
And it looked to me like half of the Bengals, they were just not interested in tackling him.
Yeah, I think they had one first down on their first 6 drives.
Yeah. So
it was every time they're on the field, they were off immediately.
Yeah, it was,
which says a lot about the Vikings defense because they, sometimes they either play down to their opponents or they underestimate them. But not yesterday. They played to their full ability and let everyone know that they're not messing around.
That was a ridiculously dominant performance by the defense. Obviously scored a touchdown on defense. Case Keenum looked great again. He 20 for 23, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's like yawn at those stats.
He was efficient.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, he didn't have to do much.
No, he didn't. And that, I guess, we might as well ask this question now. Obviously the defense looked good. How was the offense? Did the offense look good, or were the Bengals just so bad that?
Well, it could have been better. I think they were 4 for 12 on third downs. Yeah. So you'd like to see that be a little better. And they had 11 penalties. Mm-hmm. A bunch of them were on the offensive line.
Gave up a sack early when it wasn't.
I think they gave up 2 sacks. That was a weird sack on the first play. Keenum just tripped on the turf or something. I don't know. But then they threw a 28-yard
on Bradford's ghost.
Yeah, then they threw a 28-yard screen pass to Murray, so that was fine.
I guess is the that's kind of
when
where
you
that
realize
question comes up was
how important Elfline is.
Yeah, exactly. Rookie of the year.
When he's right next to Murray and when he catches the ball.
Literally next to him. Those screen passes, I guess, are part of what make me want to ask that question because there were a couple of those screen passes, I think McKinnon caught both of them, where there was nobody around him on defense. And so I guess that makes me wonder, do the Vikings look this good, or is Cincinnati just that uninterested in playing defense that, oops, he's open, somebody forgot, because it looked like...
Yeah, the Vikings are good, but I don't think you can take too much out of this game.
Yeah.
You just have to take away the fact that they played well and they didn't make, too many didn't really make any mistakes. I don't think Keenum didn't have an interception.
No.
So
did what they were supposed to do, won the game, and not only did they win the game, but they rolled. It was never.
They should have had a shutout if not for Teddy.
What was that stat? It was like until 293?
93, I think, against the Lions when the Silverdome was still alive.
Oh man, that was implosion. That was great internet. Watching that not blow up, or implode, I guess, not blow up, because whatever. Teddy's back. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I mean, it got really like dusty in the room, and my allergies started getting weird.
I thought my wife was cutting onions, but no, she wasn't even home. So.
Turns out she wasn't even there.
Yeah, it's weird.
I honestly did, though. I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, I might cry right now, and I just want you to know I might cry. This is going to be really cool. And it was cool. I didn't cry all the way, but I would have gotten away with it.
I did.
If it's a boy-girl like party early on, you're watching a movie gets emotional, I would have been able to hide it from the rest of the party.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like super bad, but yeah, it was emotional. That was super cool.
Well, with all the players on the sidelines.
That was what got me.
Getting up and Keenum cheering him on and Rudy and all them. Yeah, I was like, God damn it.
It's happening again. Yeah, Barrero today on K-Fan had a great point and I didn't think about this until later on, but that was a full stadium. You know, and that game had been over they were all there waiting to see if Teddy was going to go in.
They knew he was going to be there.
That kind of
because he could have been in. They could have put him in at the beginning of the second half.
Oh, yes. Speaking of, you were pretty good on predictions, because you predicted for the game. What was your previous prediction? You were close. It was like 48.
Like 40.
10, 40,
40
10, something
40
like that.
to 7, I think.
So you won that by a mile. And then also on Twitter, you predicted early on Sunday that the Vikings were going to be up 30 by halftime, and Teddy was going to go in. I think they were up 27-0 at halftime, and I thought, honestly, I thought that Teddy was going to go in to start the second half. I'm glad he didn't, all things considered, but...
No, it was they put him in a good time.
Good predicting,
my
friend.
I know, I like to think I know what I'm talking about because I get paid for it. But,
Good save.
Yeah. But no, they put him in at a good time, and it was a good time to do it too, because get it out of the way with all that emotional stuff and the fans going crazy and stuff at a moment in a game that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
At that point, instead of him having to start in a playoff game or something like that. And
yeah. Well, and that was also after he played, and after the game, that was the first thing I thought was, I am so glad he got in for a little bit. So I mean, not that. I'm not saying he knocked the rust off, but that was you can't just drop a guy after 2 years and throw him in the middle of this, because even against a bad team.
Yeah, he said after the game he wasn't nervous, but I don't know how much I want to believe that. He was like, I was calm. I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It's okay to not be calm there, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. Yeah.
No.
And
then he threw the pick. That wasn't his fault, but of course everyone who's like, I told you so.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly though, all things considered, I would prefer Teddy come in and throw an interception than throw a touchdown.
Well, to me, him being in there is pretty much a preseason game.
Yeah.
So if
I don't know.
Still dusty in there.
Yeah. Still dusty.
It's like if Bradford threw a interception in the preseason, people they wouldn't really care that much because it doesn't matter. That's pretty much how it was yesterday. But that's not how some people are evaluating it. But they don't. I don't have time to talk about them.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I think, is all of the level-headed, halfway normal. Well, I mean, as normal as you can get, Vikings fans. You're not about to jump off a building, and you don't want to hurt people when they lose. Like normal people. We have to start pointing out that some of these things are crazy talk. This is crazy talk. It's okay for us to say too much, man.
Well, I was going to write something today. I didn't have time, but it's but it was going to be something about like it's okay to root for Keenum and Teddy. It's okay. You don't have to pick one. You can root for them both to do well.
And it doesn't. Yeah, that's it right there. And it doesn't have to be. You don't have to love that one is failing, or like just
be like, ha ha.
Yeah, like they're all in the same room all the time anyway.
Like in the beginning of the year, like I had my doubts about Keenum, and I think I had every right to. He wasn't playing that well. He had that one good game against the Bucs, and they weren't very good. That wasn't a very good defense. So I still had my doubts based on his past career performances too. But since the bye, he's been playing really well, and I'm not about to like push that to the side. I'm happy he's doing well. He's playing for the team that I root for, and I'd rather see him do well than root against him so that Teddy can get in or something like that.
I think that's totally it right there. Is like that's the difference. Is there are people who root against the greater interest of the team because of one player. I want the team to do poorly so that my favorite player can come in. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I did see that there's a possibility that Teddy could start in Week 17 against the Bears if the Eagles lock up home field advantage.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are able to, I think if they clinch, there's a possibility they can clinch this bye next week. So if both that happens and the Vikings can't get any farther, then they'll probably rest some players in that final week, and Teddy could probably get a start.
That was going to be my next question is, how comfortable do you feel if, God forbid, where's something wood to knock on, Case Keenum goes down with an injury, Teddy has to start for this team?
Oh, I'm fine.
You'd be fine? Do you think their ceiling stays about the same?
Yeah, because they don't have – their offense isn't really like quarterback dependent. They depend a lot on their running backs and the receivers to get open instead of waiting for the quarterback to necessarily throw them open. And then, of course, they have that defense, which is really good. I saw somebody, was it Ben Lieber, posted yesterday that was the most impressive defensive performance he's seen from this team all year. And I'm like, did you not? The Bengals have the worst offense in the NFL, and the Vikings held the Rams to 7 points.
Yeah, see, why isn't anyone talking about the Rams game, Atlanta game, and what was the other? There was another one too.
The Redskins.
But
the
Redskins.
That was on the road.
Yeah.
The Lions game.
But like, those are those are the offenses right now in the NFL. And the Vikings held, what was the Rams to 7, held Atlanta to 10, was it?
Something like that.
Something like that. Why isn't anybody talking about how good this defense is on like a team versus team basis? There are a lot of playoff scenario things getting thrown around. Nobody's talking about the fact that the Vikings have beaten almost all of these teams, save Carolina, and that's basically it. They've beaten everybody else.
Philly. And they had a chance to beat the Panthers. It's not like they were blown out or anything.
Yeah.
Went down right to the last possession. But I was thinking about yesterday because people were like, "Oh, I don't want to see the Panthers in the playoffs." I'm like, Vikings played like their worst game of the year against the Panthers, and they still had a chance to win.
Yeah.
So
we discussed it they played that poorly, turned the ball over that many times, and still had a chance to win it. I honestly, there's nobody in the NFC right now that I'm afraid of at all.
No.
Philly would have been the only team, but now with Wentz out, I just don't.
Yeah, and
I'm not as afraid.
Even the Saints, but they've been kind of playing a little poorly the past couple of weeks. They squeaked out a win yesterday over the Jets. And then they lost to the Falcons 2 weeks ago. So
I'd like to think that the Vikings defense could not shut down, but could control the. I don't think they would score nearly as many points as they have been over the course of their season.
The Eagles?
The New Orleans
Saints.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they didn't score that many against the Falcons. I think they only scored 17 or 20.
Yeah, how many did they have? I think they had over 30 against Carolina when they beat Carolina the week before the
Vikings
played them. I could be wrong. I don't know.
The Vikings almost had I think it was like 28-22 or something like that.
Okay.
But the Vikings almost had 30 points against the Panthers too. So
maybe that's just my like fear of Drew Brees in that he's been so prolific previously that I just associate prolific offenses
not
with
this year.
him as a quarterback. When he
hasn't been that great. I don't know if it's because they haven't really needed him to be great.
Because they finally have a running game.
Yeah, I'm sure he still has a little bit of magic maybe left in him, but he's definitely not the same Drew Brees that could have torched the Vikings like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Like, most underrated move of the NFL like season this year was New Orleans getting rid of Adrian Peterson. Everything changed after that, and like their offense like had no more issues. Like, they were fine. Like, what a kudos to them for making a move like mid-season. That, I mean, that I don't want to say ballsy, but like that's a big name, and you just signed him until
he
cut him loose.
He didn't fit their offense.
No, but he never did. So you'd think that wouldn't be the reason. If it wasn't the reason they signed him. God, this stupid bug. 1952. Fucking thing. It's gonna be back. I know it's gone. My girlfriend has plants everywhere in this house. And bugs are on the plants, and I don't know, all kinds of different ones. Big plants, small plants, plants that are in cans that are doing this, plants that go up.
Any legal plants in California?
No, none of those kinds of plants, unfortunately. That's outsourced. We don't grow those. We just buy the final product.
Yeah. What are you talking about? The Saints getting rid of Peterson.
Yeah, the Saints. I'm afraid of Drew Brees just because he was good previously.
Just because he's Drew Brees, yeah.
I feel like I have a lot of that. I feel like a lot of Vikings fans have a lot of that, but that like kind of fear is like the everything's going too well fear is starting to set in as a Vikings fan for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You talked about how the defense, I mean, obviously is really good, and you said like home field advantage maybe doesn't make as big of a difference for this team. Can you maybe elaborate on that a little bit? Make me feel better about the fear that I have in my head.
I'm saying home field advantage as in throughout the playoffs. Like, getting a bye seems important to have. But I could very easily see the Eagles losing their first playoff game.
Agreed.
Since they struggled to beat the 2-win Giants yesterday.
Who have already fired their head coach and benched their starting quarterback and have
Odell Beckham's out.
Yeah,
they have a bunch of players.
No wide receivers. Or
Eli's their quarterback.
The season anyway.
Yeah. And Nick Foles.
Foles. Who also, though Nick Foles beat out a certain Case Keenum for a starting job not that long ago.
Under Jeff Fisher? Oh,
Jeff
boy.
Fisher.
The quarterback guru out there.
I was just going to say, like, is there anybody that looks worse in football right now than Jeff Fisher? Everybody you couldn't do anything with is
maybe
successful.
Jerry Richardson, but
oh yeah, too soon, man. Too soon.
That's all right. He doesn't know what's going on.
That got me, man. I lost my train of thought completely.
Yeah. Well, no, just because I think the Eagles can lose, and then the Vikings have proved that they can go on the road in like a tough environment and get a win just because of the way they play, how they run the ball really well and they play good defense, and they don't need to. Their passing game they're not like a indoor team like they have been in the past, like with their passing offenses and stuff like that. It's more built for all weather settings, which will come into play on Saturday when it's like negative
to it. Yes,
2 degrees.
It is going to be freezing. 0 is the forecasted high right now. 0 degrees,
which should come into play in the decision for the Packers to decide whether or not Rodgers plays, because I don't think they want him getting pounded into the ground. That's going to be like cement.
Do you think that the game tonight, the Atlanta or Tampa Bay, do you think that game plays any real? I mean, if they're still mathematically in it, you think he's playing for sure?
I think he would want to play on Saturday either way.
Yeah.
But I think that's where like coaches and GMs have to step in and be like, no, you can't do that. But yeah, I think if the Falcons win, then he's sitting for the rest of the year. I already saw somebody who has some knowledge out there in the Vikings world throughout that there's a rumor that Rodgers could be shut down for the rest of the year. And I told you beforehand that the Packers signed another quarterback. They said that they always intended to re-sign him. It was like Callahan or whatever. But, funny timing.
Yeah, they just happened to sign him on the right. Oh, yeah, that was what I was referencing something earlier that had happened. We weren't even recording yet. That was just me and you talking beforehand. My bad there. Sorry, audience, about that. You didn't know what I was talking about. Zimmer got asked today in his presser, is there a difference game planning between Aaron Rodgers and Brett Hundley? Is that his name?
Yeah. Yep.
Which obviously I don't think is a real great question because, of course, there's a huge difference.
Can you guess who it came from?
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
But Zimmer goes...
Oh, no, wait. I think he actually asked a question about the Pro Bowl tomorrow, so
Did
Pro Bowl
he?
voting or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Of course, Zimmer gave him a nice answer for that.
Yeah. But that was Zimmer's answer was essentially for the which one's harder to prepare for. He basically said they're like the same.
Which is lying.
Yeah, which is lying. which is untrue.
Yeah.
Do you think that they spend any time working on preparing for one or the other? Do you think it's just they're only preparing for Rodgers, and if he happens to not be playing, okay, it's basically going to be doing the same thing, only like a diet version of that?
Well, I think if Rodgers isn't going to play, I think it's going to be a decision that's known before like Thursday or Friday. Mm-hmm. So the Vikings will have plenty of time.
Realistically, will be known after the game tonight.
Yeah, but I'm sure the Packers will drag it out maybe till Friday and be like, oh, he's going to sit. Just because that's something actually that Mike Zimmer would do.
Yeah. He said that too. He's like, this is why you want to know why I never tell you who my starter is. This is why.
No one asked if Joe Berger was going to be the starting quarterback this week. I was waiting for someone to ask that.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Who's your starting center this week?
No, because last week you said, I don't tell you guys if Pat Elflein's going to be the starting quarterback. I don't tell you if Joe Berger's going to be the starting quarterback.
Oh, he said quarterback for him?
Yeah, so that's why I wanted someone to ask.
Joe Berger starting at quarterback today.
Yeah. I wanted it to be like someone who like he kind of likes, so he could be like, come
on. I suppose we could go to the Green Bay preview. Mm-hmm. What their defense no,
it's not very good.
Yeah,
they could not cover what's his face, Christian McCaffrey at all yesterday. They had it's not that they couldn't cover him, they didn't have anybody on him, which I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
He's like their leading receiver.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Jerick McKinnon might have a big day on Saturday.
He was. McKinnon is so, I don't want to say underrated, but I forget how often he's touching the ball because it's always, it's like, oh, it's a pass. And I don't think that's a McKinnon touch, as far as the offense is concerned. But he has the ball in his hands a lot for this team.
He makes plays.
Definitely.
He has 50 catches this year. So
that's incredible. Do you think, let's pause on the Green Bay preview.
Yes.
If they can get Shermer to stay, do you think they can get... Here's why I ask. He's been a head coach before. The opportunity to win here is going to be greater than it would be at the majority of jobs that he would take.
Oh, for Shermer?
And he's already lost in... he knows what that's like. He's been to Cleveland and knows...
I don't know. There's going to be some good jobs out there that have like the Colts job with I don't know if Andrew Luck's ever going to come back.
Yeah.
But
And that changes a lot.
I think the Giants' job is really intriguing, just because of how that franchise always is. This is like their first losing season in a long time. And I think maybe the Bucs' job that could get open. You got Jameis. You got a nice slew of weapons on offense down there. So there's some pretty intriguing jobs if he wants to do so.
But what if he doesn't?
If he doesn't,
and what if he stays? Do you sign Case Keenum long term if he's here?
That's the $1 million question, I guess.
I would be into that. I never even thought about it as a possibility until
I think that would be up to Case at that point. That'd be up to him if he wants to.
They would have to give him a lot.
Stay here. Yes, they would. That's also up to Rick Spielman if he wants to give him that much money after one good season.
That's gonna be like, I don't know if I'm interested in paying Case Keenum in the
especially when you have
$20 million range.
Especially when you have someone like Teddy that you could probably get for cheap.
But as it stands now, they got nobody coming back. Nobody.
Yeah, well, Kyle Sloter, I think that's it. I think he's on the practice squad.
Brutal.
But no, I mean, at this point, I think Teddy would be cheaper than Case Keenum. He's younger. I think he would do well in Pat Shurmur's offense.
Yeah,
and his skill set.
And to say that Shurmur can successfully cater an offense to Case Keenum, but wouldn't be able to successfully cater an offense to Teddy Bridgewater, seems a bit naive to assume.
Yeah, I'm wondering who they would get to call the offense if Shurmur leaves.
Yeah. See,
that's what I'm worried.
I don't like that. I don't want to think about that stuff. I like this feeling. I like the winning. I want
to keep
everybody together.
You got to worry about now. Worry about that stuff later, but
that's
I'm a
not
writer.
How Vikings' brain works.
I'm a writer, and I have to write about this stuff just to get people's interest going, and then have them get mad at me.
Yeah, have them yell at you on Twitter. Fun. What a gig.
Oh, yeah.
So exciting. Okay, back to the Green Bay preview. Defense, not so good. Rodgers is pretty good. Obviously looked rusty. 3 interceptions last week.
Yeah.
They lost.
They were bad interceptions, too. They weren't like tips. They were bad interceptions.
It's so strange I didn't watch much of that game, but to watch him not put the ball in the perfect place. It's like weird. It looks funny to me. You know, it's like everything else goes perfectly, and then he kind of misses the throw. It was like, ugh.
I'm sure his injury is not 100%. Like I've said in the past.
Yeah,
everyone's like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers is back. He's gonna be great. He's gonna be the same person." I told you a bunch of times he's not going to be.
No. And
what do you know? It comes out and throws three interceptions, even though they almost had a chance at the end there. But
because he still he still threw for 3 touchdowns too, didn't he?
I think so, something like that, 2 or 3.
Guy's a jerk.
He's good. You can't ignore it. It's like that's like when Brett Favre was with the Packers.
Yeah.
Growing up watching the Vikings, you know that he's good. You can't not admit it, even though you hate to.
Yeah, you can hate the team, but you have to acknowledge that.
Yeah. It's pretty much anyone who rooted for anyone else besides the Bulls too in the 90s.
Yeah. Do you almost see? I don't know. How do you not root against Jordan at that point? I mean, because I did too. I didn't want him to win, but you have to that was because he was better than anything ever. Those teams were incredible. Do you conspiracy theory?
Oh boy!
Primetime game, NBC, no flexing. Rodgers plays no matter what.
Oh yeah, because it's on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. That's big viewership, man. You got to have your big boppers in there. Aaron Rodgers, he's a big bopper.
Yeah, I don't know. Packers usually draw good views, anyways.
Yeah, that's true. They do have a really
Their
loyal.
fans are annoyingly everywhere.
It's awful.
Even all the way out here, there's a Packers bar. It's pretty annoying.
Oh, that's awful. Seriously?
There's a Vikings bar too.
Oh, that's good. Yuck, Packers bar. Ugh. Do you, man? I don't know about this Green Bay game. We'll know if it's conspiracy theory for sure if they're eliminated tonight and he plays.
Yeah, and it's also probably like we want to ruin the Vikings' chances at a bye or something like that.
Spoiler.
Which I was playing with. ESPN has like a playoff machine or whatever that you can fiddle around with.
Yep.
To see what'll happen if this team wins or that team wins, and if the Lions win their next two games, they could be in the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and who are they playing? Because that was the big thing was Detroit's schedule was cake when they were right in the thick of things.
Yeah, that's true. I think they might be playing No, they just played the Bears.
Yeah. Yep. On Saturday. So who would that? Green Bay, they're done. So it'd have to be an NFC or no? Tampa Bay.
They might be playing Tampa Bay.
I bet it is.
No, they already did play Tampa Bay actually.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's interesting because I wouldn't count. I mean, Matthew Stafford is good and we've seen him win close games a lot. Last year,
they're playing the Bengals next week.
Oh, are they? Well, that's probably a W for them.
And then they finish off the season at home against the Packers.
Oh, so they haven't played the Packers twice. Okay. But at that point, the Packers are probably just going to be
So
Hundley Mobile. They could win. They really could. And then then that would eliminate one of the three AFC or NFC South teams.
The Falcons, probably.
Yeah.
Because they have the same record as the Falcons right now, and I believe the Falcons play the Panthers next week.
And I think both of those teams have the tiebreaker.
And the Saints. So I think they play the Falcons and they end the season against the Saints. So there's a good chance the Lions could be in the playoffs.
That would be interesting. I don't know if I would want to see... Well, I'm not afraid of the Lions, obviously, but I don't know... I don't know if I'd want to see them for a third time. That would be a hard...
it'd be a close game, but I still would feel confident. Because that first... We've talked about it in the past. That first game was just odd because Dalvin Cook going out just threw everything off.
Mm-hmm. And that, superstitious-wise, that's good. It's like impossible to beat a team 3 times in one season. They beat us once, so don't have to worry about that.
And I don't think it's impossible because I've seen it many times.
Nope. Impossible.
Okay.
Sorry. As far as the defense for the Vikings...
Yeah. They're pretty good.
They're real good.
Yeah.
Are you seeing Barr, Kendricks, are the linebackers seem, obviously Kendricks had a interception for a touchdown, but are they looking more active? They seem more active to me. It's like they're making...
they're everywhere?
Yeah, I don't want to say splash plays, but they're just everywhere. It seems like they're always near the ball. They're like being very active. Is that something... Do you think, is that a scheme thing, or is that just like the defense kind of hitting its stride at the end of the year?
I think it has to do a lot with who they're playing because Zimmer's the kind of coach that actually switches up his defensive game plan for each week. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of coaches do that. So, and he has those two guys are super athletic, so he can have them running all over no matter what. He doesn't have to keep one and just blitz all the time.
Yeah.
Barr's okay in coverage. He's gotten, I think, a little better. He's more the pass rushing guy, and then Kendricks he's really good at covering. Yesterday he was like stride for stride. I think it was a tight end that was open yesterday, and Dalton threw him the ball, but Kendricks caught up to it right away, and obviously he had that interception. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, he's been impressive. Kendricks especially has just been lights out. He looks so good.
Yeah,
the Bengals game.
The biggest thing I'm worried about over these next 2 weeks is just making sure everyone stays healthy going into the playoffs, especially on defense.
Yeah, especially on defense. Who is Smith, do you think, the most important if he goes down that would be the worst injury, or do you think that has maybe shifted to one of those linebackers with the way that they've been playing?
You could argue for one, on either level, like Smith. I think Barr would be a bigger impact than Kendricks.
Okay.
Xavier Rhodes, although they seem to have some better depth this year at corner.
Yeah.
Xavier Rhodes, you didn't hear anything about him yesterday just because Dalton didn't even bother.
Didn't even go over there.
Shut down A.J. Green. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if he really shut down A.J. Green. He probably did, but Dalton just didn't even. He didn't.
Never looked.
He's like, I'll throw interceptions other places.
No, it's cool. I'll throw it to the other team on this side. A.J. Green, just 2 catches for 30 yards. He had that one. It was like a 15-yard. It was the first down that they had. Like, it was garbage time. It was in the fourth quarter. So basically 1 catch for about 15 yards. Can't go wrong there. We have a good secondary.
And I think if Everson Griffin is hurt, that seems like it could have a pretty big impact because what do you got? Robinson to be his replacement?
I guess so, which, I mean, guy had 2 sacks yesterday, so what can...
He did, but I mean...
But he's old.
I think a lot of Griffin's...
He's not Griffin.
No, I think a lot of Griffin's success this year, too, has been due to the attention that Danielle Hunter's been able to draw on his side. Mm-hmm. Just because he's a freak of nature, and the other team needs 2 or 3 blockers to make sure that he doesn't kill their quarterback.
Yeah.
So.
Green Bay prediction, what do you think? Do you want to do with Rodgers and without Rodgers, because we don't really know at this point?
Yeah, we can do that. Without, I would go 30-13.
30-13. Without, I am going 31.
Oh, wait. Without, I'd go 30-6.
30-6.
Yeah. Brett Hundley, he's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And then with Rodgers, probably do 26-13.
26-13. With Rodgers, 13, I say
13 for each screw and Aaron Rodgers is collarbone.
It's like
don't think I haven't been thinking about that.
With Rodgers, I'm going to go 28-17. I don't know if I said that or not. Also, my prediction is Green Bay's eliminated from the playoffs, but Aaron Rodgers still plays because NBC prime time and
he's a jackass.
And the NFL wants the Vikings to lose because they hate us. Conspiracy theory.
They do.
Also, have you... God, this fucking bug. Box elder bug. What was I going to say about... the separate conspiracy theory question. People talking about...
Is this a conspiracy podcast today?
Yep, today it is. It's a special episode. Just decided. People are saying that the NFL doesn't want the Vikings to have home field throughout and in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
That's stupid. I think that would...
Is there a financial reason that would...
I think they would make more money.
That's what... I can't think of a good reason from the NFL's perspective. Isn't that how conspiracy theories work?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, but most of the time...
It's usually against the man or whatever.
Yeah. But what does the man want in this situation? I got no motivation for the man.
If it's in Minnesota, then you're going to have local people paying thousands of dollars for tickets instead of people that are going there and not caring at all who's playing the game pretty much.
But does the NFL get that money if that's because those are probably... Does the NFL just get face value for all those tickets and everything else that's getting sold on the secondary market, not their money? Maybe that's...
I don't know.
I don't know. I just can't... for the life of me, I'm trying to think of I just can't see an upside to the NFL for it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe somebody that listens can answer that.
You can't see an upside?
From the NFL's perspective, why would you want to take?
They wouldn't
away?
want it.
Yeah, what motivation would they have to squash something like that?
And it's a cool story. The first team to ever play Super Bowl in their home stadium.
Yeah, my first thought was that like give like the gate money to other owners and other teams, but what do you care if you're the NFL? Because it's gonna, you're making the same amount anyways. You'd figure. I don't know. I don't know why. That's just one I keep hearing over and over.
I haven't heard that one. That's a new one.
I don't understand.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but
yeah, those are some of my that's some of my favorite Vikings Twitter is the like real good the NFL wants to screw us stuff that just doesn't make any sense. Well, my favorite the same way that like it's fun to read the misconnections on Craigslist just because they're a riot, and it's kind of sad and it's kind of like watching a car crash.
Or reading the replies to Teddy Bridgewater's video on the Vikings Facebook page.
All those things.
That's always
that's
stuff
like
fun
that.
too.
Yeah.
If you want to, mutilate your mind, it's one path you can take.
Oh man, some of those, it just shocks me that there are people in the world who are like, yep, send. Or like enter.
Yeah.
Post.
They still don't know that the internet is forever.
Forever. Can't take that back. And it's on Facebook, so we know
and that their full name and their picture is right next to what they said.
And in most of if one click gets you address, phone number too, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, Facebook asks," so I just all my personal information on there.
Yeah, here's my bank account.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, real quick. It won't be quick. What is a catch in the NFL? Does that rule make any sense to you?
It's time for the Catch podcast.
Can we just go back to the football move?
I don't know.
How do you fix it?
I don't know what a football move is anymore.
How do you fix it?
The thing that bothered me was with Jesse James yesterday in the Steelers game when he caught that ball and it bobbled when his hand hit the ground.
Well, because he catches it, brings it down, and then reaches it out, and as he's reaching it across the goal line, falls and jars loose-ish, and
did the ball
picks it up.
But did the ball hit the ground?
I think it did.
Okay.
But he had already and reached out.
What's the difference between that and what James Stewart did a week ago when he dove over the pile
I think
against the Vikings? When he dove over the pile as the Vikings, he had the ball over the goal line for like a split second, and then they knocked it out of his hand.
Yeah, because as a running back, that's considered possession. But if you're a wide receiver catching a ball, that's not possession yet. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It should be.
And it was dumb when they did it for the Calvin Johnson touchdown, and it was dumb when Des Bryant happened, and it was dumb this past week. And everybody, that's the thing that frustrates me the most is everybody knows it's dumb, and everyone's like, the rules, what do? They made the right call, though. It's like, how could it be the right call if everybody knows the rule sucks? Well,
it's because, when they make these rules, it's all the owners, getting around, a bunch of drinks in the meetings, and they're like, we should change this to make sure. And then they think it's going to work, and then they get out on the field, and they're like, yeah, this isn't going to work.
Well, it's like they base it off of one. It's like this works 99% of the time, but that one time, it really didn't work as well. So let's change
this year.
The rule.
It's worked 10% of the time.
That's what I'm saying. And so they changed the rule to now it's like, I don't know. And I had a theory for a hot minute back to the conspiracy theory podcast. that was their goal, was to kind of muddy the interpretation of the rules so bad that nobody could complain that it was a good call or a bad call or not, because nobody knows what a good call is anymore, because nobody knows what a catch is anymore. So you can't be upset. But then you have a play like this on Sunday where he obviously made the catch, possessed the ball, brought the ball towards him.
Well, and he was reaching to get to the goal line. It's not like he was reaching to save possession of the ball.
Yeah.
He already had it.
That's what I'm saying. But as far as the rule is concerned, he had not yet established possession.
So my thing is, I think it should be the first two, whatever, limbs or arms or whatever that come down. After that, it's a catch. You get a knee down, you get an elbow down or whatever.
Yeah.
Anything after that, it's a catch. Because like with the Thielen thing, he started bobbling it when he was like out of bounds. I'm like, why does that matter? He's out of bounds.
Yeah, he had already caught the ball in the end zone. And
he already had two extremities or whatever inbounds. He hit the pylon,
yeah,
which usually means automatic touchdown. But apparently bobbling it out of bounds after you've already been inbounds.
Yeah, it's gotten to a point now where it's like when did possession get to the stuff that happens after you've already caught the ball and fall down?
Yeah, nobody knows what possession is.
Yeah.
They're all like, oh, you have to make a football move. Well, sometimes.
Yeah. I just can't the rule just be look like he caught it? You know, like can't we just have that be the like, did it look like he had both hands on the ball and like possessed it? Because what is possession? Well, just what you tell me. Did that Steeler look like he caught the ball?
Yeah,
sure did.
Well, and then the Panthers receiver Bird or whatever, he caught it in the back of the end zone, and he had like one butt cheek out of bounds.
Yeah,
and they called it a catch.
Yeah,
and I was like,
which one is more of a catch to you?
Yeah,
I know which way I would vote.
Yeah,
it just doesn't. It's like.
It's every week, though. It's getting really annoying.
It is. It's every week. And we're talking about an easy game that's easy to play. The rules of what you learn when you're like 6 years old. And you're telling me that you can't, as a bunch of like, you're a multi-billion-dollar organization and like a bunch of really smart people running the show, that you can't come up with a better rule?
Come on. Especially like when it happens in a game, like a situation like that at the end of the game with like the Steelers and Patriots or the Panthers and Vikings. I don't know if the Vikings one was the end of the game, but it was still important.
It was, yeah. Because
it mattered at the end of the game. Yeah, I don't know. That's something they're gonna have to look at, I guess, in the off season. But this seems like something that's always said during every season.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it after the Packers.
Maybe the XFL, maybe the new XFL can figure it out.
Yeah. A lot of good things came from that XFL, man. Wasn't that the first use of the Sky Cam?
Yeah.
That was important. Pylon cams, too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of
I was thinking,
sports.
Since there's like rumors or whatever that coming back, I was like, there's a lot of good players out there. I think I might actually be interested in it, like Johnny Manziel, and they could put like like all the bad people, like Greg Hardy and Ray Rice.
Yeah.
It would be kind of put RG3 in there.
That's a really, really, really good. Yeah, I'd watch that. Could you imagine Johnny Football against?
He'd be a star.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, he'd be a star.
Oh my God!
But of course, he would have one good season there and then go to the NFL. But it would still be fun to watch,
and we'd know what a catch was.
Yeah,
worth it.
But let's see what playoff scenarios for this week, upcoming week or whatever.
Yeah,
the Vikings pretty much have to win to get home field advantage. They have to win both their games, and they have to hope that the Eagles lose at least one of their games. And the Eagles are playing the Raiders.
The Raiders,
which are still trying to get in the playoffs, so they're trying to play a meaningful game. They're not going to rest players and all that stuff.
Oh, and that was another dumb rule thing. Was the Raiders lost?
Oh, the index card.
That's another. I don't know if it's like a bad rule, but the touchback out of bounds. Any other time I heard this on the radio today, I can't like claim all the way credit for this thought.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Anytime, because Carr fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Out of bounds in the end zone, which is a touchback for the other team. Yeah. Any other time you fumble the ball and it goes out of bounds, it's still your ball unless possession has been.
Wait, isn't that a safety?
No. It touchback for the. So they're So Oakland is driving. David Carr. Is it David or Derek? Derek Carr. Whoops. Derek Carr scrambles, jumps, fumbles the ball out of the end zone. Touchback, Dallas ball. They run the kneel the clock.
Yeah, because I didn't see the highlights because I thought you were talking about like they were driving and like they were in their own end zone and he fumbled it.
Oh, right.
And that would be a safety.
What is the card? the cue card thing? I've heard many mentions of that. I haven't seen it. What is it? Explain
I did
it to
see
me.
that. Well, they had to measure a first down.
Oh,
They used the chains, and they couldn't figure it out with the chains because it was too close to call or whatever. So the referee took out a folded index card and put it in between the ball and the first down marker or whatever, and was like, "Oh yeah,
are kidding.
first down."
Wow.
Yeah.
Please tell me that the card that's NFL rules. You have to carry a folded index card.
Well,
just
they
in
use
case.
they use them to write stuff down, obviously, but no, I don't think that's ever been done before.
That's ridiculous.
And it resulted in the Cowboys getting a first down and being able to, I think they scored to go ahead or whatever.
That's another, like, get with it, NFL, is like, you're still doing it with chains, you guys? We got, like, fake lines on the field for TV and, like, laser possibilities and chips in the football, but you still are figuring out who's gotten the farthest by, like, a chain link.
You still have to move the first down marker every time someone gets a first down instead of just, like, pressing a button.
And having it be there.
Yeah.
Because it's the future. We have cars that can park themselves. We're
You can just
talking on opposite sides of the country.
Yeah, you can even build stuff like nowadays. You could probably even like build stuff under the field that would like
tell you
eliminate
exactly where the ball was.
Yeah, that would be too easy.
It would be too easy. And how do you rig the games in favor of the NFL, the man, when you got laser pointers and stuff like that going on? The answer is you can't. I don't know why pointers happen, but
yeah. Well, those are there.
Conspiracy.
But back to playoff scenarios. Yeah, so the Vikings need to win both. If they win next week, I think they get a bye. No matter what.
Yeah, clinch a bye. And the Eagles need to lose both of them, right?
No, just one.
Just one. And they have Dallas.
No. They do need to lose both of them. They do need to lose both.
Okay.
Because they're what, 12-2? Yeah, 12-2.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are 11-3. So yeah, the Vikings would have to have a better record because the Eagles hold. The tiebreaker is the winning percentage of common opponents. It's not point differential, which I've heard is being tossed out there. That's the tiebreaker. That has nothing to do with anything. But it's the winning percentage of their common opponents. So like the Panthers and Rams, and I think there's one other team that they've both played before.
Yeah, with a minimum of 4 teams, right? For that tiebreaker. Wasn't this the tiebreaker when the Vikings were in the...
Well, they played the Redskins twice. So that might count as 2 teams.
As 2? I don't know. I don't know how any... That's where I get confused about tiebreakers.
Oh, yeah. It's super confusing. But just to avoid all that, it's just Vikings win both their games and the Eagles lose both, which can happen. They got Nick Foles. They almost lost to the Giants yesterday.
Exactly.
Their defense did not look good yesterday.
Did not look good at all.
Their special teams look good. They had like 2 blocked field goals and a blocked punt. So
Oakland's pretty good. Not obviously as good as maybe we expected.
No.
They're pretty good.
They can pull off an upset.
Yes, that's what I mean. Is they're pretty good enough to win. And Dallas is going to have Ezekiel Elliott back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I kind of mush mouth.
And that's a big rivalry. They're going to want to beat the Eagles because they'll probably be trying to get in the playoffs too.
So it is conceivable.
It is, but if the Eagles win next week, then it's not.
Okay.
So
go Oakland.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure though on that. If the Vikings win, they get a bye because I think the Panthers can still tie their record, and the Panthers would have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Because they beat the Vikings.
That would be a huge bummer to not get a bye.
Yes and no, because they still get a home game. They
in a home game against somebody that you've already beaten, basically.
Yeah, I think I heard it was Matthew Collar, and I think it was the Purple Podcast or something I listened to today. And somebody asked Matthew Collar if he could either have a healthy roster but have to play from the wild card on round, or one of the Vikings like star defensive players and have home field advantage. And he was like, "Oh, I take the wild card either, no matter what.
No kidding.
Because that's a big.
Interesting.
You want your team to be healthy.
Yeah. And it usually is at this time of year, the teams that are playing the best are the teams that are the healthiest. Those are the teams that wind up winning. So
look at the Steelers. They just lost Antonio Brown.
that was ugly. I thought his leg was broken, to be honest with you, like right away.
I saw him walking off. I didn't see the injury, but I couldn't. I was being distracted by all the Antonio Brown MVP talk, which is driving me nuts.
I think Case Keenum should be the MVP this year.
Yeah, cool. Are we done?
Yeah, I think that'll do it. That's a great spot to have.
I did hear another argument for that today. It was like, there's all these. I see all these names for MVP consideration, but I think there's one missing. Like, I'm saying to myself, I don't think there is.
No, I just.
And then somebody was trying to say that, like, oh, Tom Brady would only win the MVP over Case Keenum just because he's popular. I'm like, are you joking?
You should look at their statistics.
Are you serious?
That is a great place to start. Yeah. Case Keenum, God bless him. Thanks for playing on our football team. But you're just not in that conversation yet, bub.
Did you catch Dan Fouts yesterday trying to throw out that Case Keenum should be comeback player of the year? And then the play-by-play guy was like, I think you have to be injured to win that.
He was mentally injured for his time on bad teams.
No, well, that's kind of what Dan Fouts said.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, there's the rule then.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah, they weren't bad. I like Dan Fouts. I think he makes a lot of sense. And he will do the very sneaky, like when he was talking about the team trying to leave at halftime. That was like a real nice roundabout way of being like, they're over it.
They're giving up.
Like, look at these guys. Yeah, exactly.
They're giving up.
Interesting.
But then,
I liked him.
You didn't experience this, but the game was out here like locally on the West Coast because it was on like 70% of the U.S. So I was watching it, and then like I think it was the second half, and it was like 24-0, and then James Brown or whatever comes on and is like, we're now switching the game to a more competitive game. They switched to the Saints and Jets, and everyone was like, what? Luckily, I paid for a package that allows me to watch all the games anyway, so that didn't bother me, but everyone else was like, what?
Dude, that Twitter blew up for a minute. I didn't realize how many. It was kind of shocking to me because I didn't realize how many out of town. Yeah, like that affected a lot of people. That
it was pretty much like the whole West Coast.
Yeah, that's nuts. I didn't have that issue. I was like, oh, this game's fine for me playing.
Yeah, I saw.
And I could like throw a rock at the stadium, but
saw some girl on Twitter like put the game on Periscope for people who couldn't watch it.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
But it was kind of weird because she was like sitting on her couch and like filming it from her phone. So I was like, I'd rather just watch like the game cast than this.
I'm good.
But, no, and then I think like the Daily Norseman threw out like, I asked like CBS or DirecTV like why it cut out, and then I threw out the link like just go to Reddit NFL streams, but you didn't hear it from me because
Yeah.
They got all the stuff.
I've done that before.
Yeah, it's
all the FCC.
Mine as well.
It's the internet.
They can't.
We get what we want.
For now, yeah.
Yeah. Net neutrality or whatever.
Yeah, I'll save that for the FCC podcast.
Yep, FCC podcast. Maybe next week, maybe not. But yeah, we will definitely be talking about Vikings next week.
Yeah, hopefully a win over the Packers.
I'm thinking so.
Open. No injuries.
No injuries. Knock on wood.
Hey,
all right, see you next week, bud.
All right, bye.
Later.